Welcome home, where we provide information, inspiration, and motivator after motivator after motivator here on America's Next. I have Leonard DeCARMINE here with me today. How you doing, Leonard?
Hey, Cedric, I am doing fantastic. I love that I got the opportunity to be here with you to have this amazing conversation on how we can change the world together.
Absolutely. Let's rock and roll. Everybody who's coming into the building, I just want to appreciate you today. We've got several people watching already. I thank each and every one of you. Yolanda Riley, good morning. Leonard, tell us where you're from.
Right now, I reside in Phoenix, Arizona, where we have sunshine all year long, and it's just great. I used to live on the East Coast where I had to shovel snow all the time or rake leaves. I traded it all in for some sunshine and some lizards instead of squirrels. Right. So it's definitely been a change, but I absolutely love it out here.
Are there palm trees in Arizona?
Yeah, we got palm trees. We got cactus. We got a little bit of everything.
Have you ever eaten cactus?
No, I have not eaten cactus.
Okay. The reason I ask that is because I watch a lot of flavor origins, foodie type shows on Netflix, and some of these people who live in certain areas, they eat different types of cactus. So I was just wondering if you've ever tried it. No,
I haven't tried it yet. I might, if I find it, I might try it somewhere. Does sound interesting, that's for sure.
Absolutely. And any UFO action out there?
No, I have. I've been watching for it because we have beautiful, stars, beautiful nightscape. And the one thing I love out here is that the moon is just huge. And I keeping my eye out for some UFOs to stop by, but yet I have not seen any. But hey, I'm a big sci-fi guy, so I'm definitely looking forward to it, seeing that opportunity for sure.
Listen, when the Palladian spaceship lands in Arizona, I want you to stop on by here at America's Next Motivator. Tell us what you saw.
I definitely will, definitely.
What was it like for you growing up?
Oh, life for me growing up, for the most part, good, except for the part of being bullied.
Okay.
I was a little bit different in the sense that I wasn't very big into sports. I grew up, collecting action figures and playing with superheroes and wearing my superhero shirts. And part of me thinks I paved the way for a lot of the fanboys today and fangirls out there that it's more acceptable now to be cool to, enjoy those characters and really show and wear your cape and do all those things.
Right.
But for myself, growing up, especially in school, I wasn't very up to date with things. I never really liked wearing jeans, so I wore sweatpants for a very long time. I wore, superhero shirts. And that kind of left me open for being a little different, where I didn't conform to everything with the other students. I wasn't very athletic. I wasn't very coordinated. I was, slightly overweight. And, and that left me open and vulnerable to be made fun of, to be picked on, and things of that nature, where I struggled a great deal with that, where, I started to become more quiet, more reserved. I didn't put myself out there. I was more afraid to do those things after a while. And, that kind of over time, that also caused a limiting belief that I had that I wasn't good enough.
Okay.
That I wasn't worth it. Right. And that also, came over into my family life as well, where, I had a good family, but I had a father who was very overbearing, and he wanted the best for my brother and I, but he was very hard on us in the sense that, again, I felt that I wasn't good enough. He always enforced common sense, and I knew he had a positive intent, but the way he went about teaching it wasn't the best way to reinforce something that he wanted, something positive. Now, my father and I didn't speak for a number of years, but we have a great relationship now. We're working on it, working through those challenges. And even though we had our differences and, I was frustrated with him, he still gave me something. And when him and I made amends, I thanked him for that. I thanked him for that gift of giving me common sense, because throughout the chaos, there's always something good, something positive to really reflect upon in that situation. You may not see it in the moment, because you have a lot of emotions going on, but there is always light at the end of the tunnel. There is always something that you can gain from that experience that can be positive.
Absolutely.
You know, and even though, and like I said, even though he had his way of doing it, and I know his intentions weren't trying to be bad, but the way he did it, which caused between the kids at school, between my upbringing, caused, like I said, these limiting beliefs where I didn't feel I was good enough. And that over time, from my adolescence to teenager, you know, especially when you're a teenager and you want to ask out the pretty girls, you're like, am I good enough to ask out that pretty girl? You know, and then you kind of hold yourself back for putting yourself out there because you don't want that rejection anymore because you've been tired of it.
Sure.
You know, and then that goes into your adult life where that holds you back now for, you know, going after that job promotion, taking that risk to start your business, writing that book, you know, doing something outside the norm because, oh, I've been made fun of all my life for being different. And, you know, that's something bad you start to believe. But really being different is what gets you rich, is what gets you out there, is what gets you known now. And people need to harness that, not to be afraid of that, and to push through those limiting beliefs to realize that you are good enough.
Without a doubt. You are good enough. I took that away from everything that you said, in addition to a few other things that I would like for us to unpack. The first thing that I really, really enjoy about what you just said is that you realized that there was value in what your father was trying to do.
Yes.
In retrospect, meaning you thought about what the experience was and you decided that there was some value in there that had a positive impact on you later on in your life. And I think that that's something that we can all take and apply to our own lives. You know, look back on your childhood and that which you originally found to be only hurtful. Re-examine it a little bit. Obviously, some things are totally in the box with the sticker on it that says hurtful.
Sure.
But there are also some experiences that when you look back on them, they gave you a certain structure. They gave you a certain intensity about life. If all you took from the experience was intensity, that can help you in your adulthood as well. So that's the first thing that I really appreciate that we can apply to everybody out here is look back on the things that your parents were trying to teach you, find the silver lining in it, and make sure that you're still applying it today. Also, when you say that you were the prototypical kid who's playing with Legos or robotics or reading a book and always wearing jogging pants, you know, when I was growing up, those particular kids, they had their own crew. Did you not have other kids around you who had similar lifestyles at that age?
For me, at that time, I had maybe one or two other friends, but nobody was really into what I was. I mean, I'm very passionate. I don't know. Excuse me. Growing up, my family was big into collectibles. They went to antique shows. They collected things. So I picked up collecting superheroes. I love old toys. I'm a big comic book fan. Even to today, I still collect. Nice. I still wear my T-shirts today, and I love it. And I still own it because that's part of me, and I'm not going to let that go because that brought me to a place in my childhood where when the world was coming down on me, I had a safe place to go. I had a safe place to go in and to be with those characters in that comic book to feel safe.
I got to say, whoever was in 1990 with you wasn't in the same time frame because you were clearly in 2020. Look at today. Yeah. Everybody's into comics. Everybody's into anime. Finding a awesome life and perspective through animation. That's where everyone is. You know, even you and I having a virtual talk show. Everything is virtual now. So you were a pioneer in a sense that you were already thinking about where everybody else was going. And I want to encourage people out there who might find themselves in a certain niche that no one else is in, that, hey, you might be into the future and maybe people just need to catch up. You know, have you put in a hashtag lately? Just type in hashtag sweatpants and see all of the thousands of entries that you'll find. Here you were years ago rocking sweatpants, doing the comic books, the animated animation. And so that's where we are today. Now, what would you say are your top comics? What are your top comics? Educate us a little bit. Because I personally was not a comics person, but I dig the dopeness. So talk to us a little bit about that.
Yeah, man. Everybody has a character that appeals to them. I mean, for me, I have always enjoyed Spider-Man because his intelligence, the way he talks to himself, the way he figures out problems, and also Batman. Growing up, I wanted to be Bruce Wayne. I wanted to have this huge tower. I wanted to go fight crime. I wanted to have this money and these cool gadgets. And the cool thing about Batman, he was just an ordinary man, but he had the tools and resources to make him successful. And that's something that even today I apply to my life, and other people should be thinking about. Anybody can become Batman if you go and find the right tools and resources to help you become successful. And that's getting an education, getting a coach, having a mentor, watching YouTube videos, and filling your mind with the things that you need to help you to achieve success and to get you from point A to point B, out of the pain and into the pleasure of success, so that you're not being held back and not turning down an avenue where you shouldn't be going. See, the big thing I emphasize with people is that you have a choice in life. You have a choice to go down the road of alcohol and drugs, or you have a choice to go down the road and fill your mind with knowledge. And I made that choice where I could have went down that pathway of, dealing with drugs and alcohol, but I chose the pathway of knowledge because I was influenced by my uncle at a young age who met a gentleman named Tony Robbins. And Tony Robbins is a huge motivational guru. He's been around for years. And my uncle did originally a fire walk with him where people walked on hot coals to show that you have the power of your mind to get through it, to get through the pain. And he introduced me to him, and I started reading his books. And even at the age of 17, 18, I started to get myself more and more involved in personal development, understanding my pain, understanding failure, understanding how to get over what I was dealing with. So the bad habits that I might have been getting or passed down to me, I didn't want that to be passed on to my children. And so I started to develop, more skill sets and understanding how the mind works and how that we can move ourselves forward to become successful.
At what point in your life did you realize that you were going to either have to go left or right? When I say left or right, I mean a life of less achievement because you have bad habits, or filling yourself with knowledge. What year in your life was that?
I think I was around 17, 18 years old. But really what was my turning point was at the age of 19, I had my daughter. And I knew at that point I had to really make a choice. What type of father do I want to be? And I knew in my mind, I didn't like the way I was raised or the way I was taught by my father. And I didn't want that for my daughter. So I really got myself more involved into understanding myself. And it's taken me years to really, control certain things that I was maybe not taught directly, but I picked up over the years as a child. Because we form our habits. You form our habits and our beliefs, from the time we were born up to the age of 7, and then we could continue on more. But usually around 7, 8 years old, we have a good idea, maybe not consciously, but subconsciously, of the things that, that we picked up from our parents. And as we grow older, some of us become our parents. We're like, oh, wow, I'm being my dad. Oh, wow, I'm being my mom. And that was really my turning point when I had my daughter at 19. I realized that's not who I want to be. I want to be different. I want to support her differently and be the best father I can be for her and guide her down the right pathway.
Without a doubt. What are some of the things that you needed to unlearn?
Oh, some of the things I need to unlearn was being able to control my emotions. That's something that I had a hard time dealing with because my father was a short fuse at times, and I had to make sure that I was able to control my emotions. And that's difficult to do. But the way to really do it is when you're in that moment of feeling triggered or feeling upset with that person, is you have to ask yourself why. Because anger is a secondary emotion. So you just can't be angry. Something else has to be influencing you to become angry. So it's usually a fear, or maybe it's a core value that you have that is being disrespected based upon your belief system. So you have to find out why you're feeling that way before you go and respond to that other person. Taking that quick 30 seconds and thinking about it will reduce your emotional level and also start to bring more self-awareness to why you're acting the way you're acting. And that's a great way to start reflecting and realizing, oh, she's, he or she's really not upsetting me because of this issue. It's really because of something else below that issue that was in my past that's really upsetting me. I need to take a step back before I say something wrong to them, because it isn't really their fault. It's something inside me that I need to recognize before moving forward.
So you had to unlearn insensitivity, and
yes,
and you also had to unlearn placing the blame on those around you, as opposed to figuring out the role that you play in the cause and effect duality. So
correct. Yes, and it's easy. We all play the victim in our lives one way or another, and it's easy to be that victim. And that's where you have to start realizing, what is really my role in this situation? Am I really being a victim right now? Or is there something else beyond what's going on that I need to really start reflecting upon? Because I can say I'm a victim based upon all the kids bullying me. I can say I'm a victim because of the way, my father was trying to teach me. I am not a victim. And once you say that to yourself and recognize that and start taking more initiative in your life, start living in integrity, start being responsible, start being accountable for yourself, the world starts to look different to you. Absolutely. You start to become at peace. You start to see more happiness. You don't see the bad stuff around you anymore because you're living at a higher frequency. You're living in a positive lifestyle that, you might end up losing friends over it because now they're not on the same vibration anymore. They're not on the same level as you. And I've lost a lot of friends. I've given up on some friends because they're just not moving with me to where I want to go in my life, to where the goals I wish to reach.
When you began to explore yourself and you realize the importance of emotional intelligence,
yes,
which involves you exploring yourself.
Sure.
What did you learn about yourself in that process?
I learned through that process that I am good enough. I am responsible for my actions, regardless of what that other person says or does. I'm still responsible on how I take it in and then how I also put it out. And that's a key thing. A lot of people don't realize that you are responsible for everything you do and say, no matter how upset that person makes you. And that's where you need to start having more self-awareness, self-reflection about who you are as a person, really how you want to live your life. How do you want to really see your future self 5 years, 6 years from now? Do you want to be that person that everybody thinks you're just angry all the time? Or do you want to be that person that, hey, I want to follow that person. I want to follow him or her because I love the confidence that they have, the charisma, that they're up to something big, that they want to change the world. That's the type of person I want to follow. And that's the type of person I want to be. And that's the way I work every day to live my life, because I know, this show is going to resonate with somebody somewhere. And I still need to be that role model, either on screen or off screen, as much as I possibly can, to show them that it is possible. And some days, I'm not perfect. I'm human. We all have flaws, but it's all on how you respond to those flaws and failures.
So let's take this opportunity right here. Let's take this moment right here, crystallize it, and provide an opportunity for all the people watching today and in the future to have the moment that you had in your life. That moment where you changed your way of thinking, that moment where you decided to get on a higher frequency, and that moment when you decided to change your paradigm. And let's see if we can provide a thought process to other people so that they can catch on to the trend of really being a leader as opposed to possibly a follower. So what I'm hearing from you is this. The number one thing is that you stayed true to who you were. Mm-hmm. You didn't say it's not okay for me to read comics anymore. It's not okay for me to wear T-shirts the way that I did when I was younger. So the number one thing is stay true to yourself. That's number one. Stay true to yourself. The second thing is look back on your childhood for the lessons that lie beneath the things that may have hurt you. You find those lessons, and then you incorporate those lessons and those early memories into your confidence bucket. You put those in a confidence bucket, and then you create a new regiment for yourself. You create a new routine for yourself, a new routine of finding new people, finding new places. In your case, it was discovering Tony Robbins. And once you start that train, don't ever hop off of it. So that's what everybody out there needs to do in order to get your life into a better circumstance, according to what Leonard DeCARMINE is saying. Am I right?
No, I absolutely agree with you. Yes, you got to stay true to yourself. And you know, even when you get on that train, you're going to have some hills that you're going to struggle going up, but just be patient. You know, find somebody to talk to, somebody that is on the same frequency, you know, who's up to what you want to be doing too. You don't want to be having conversations where somebody's going to say, oh, you can't do that, or you're not good enough, or why you're doing that. You want to find a partner, a mentor, or accountability partner that can really support you or have those conversations with you to keep you motivated, keep you moving up that mountain, because it is going to be a struggle. And sometimes you want to jump off that train and try something different. It doesn't work. Just stay true to who you are and where you want to go. And it will take time, but you will get there and you will reap the rewards of having that.
At some point, did you start writing down your thoughts or writing down the things that you realized about yourself? Did you ever start writing?
Actually, I'm working on it right now. I'm working on my own core program that I'm going to be using for coaching to help people come along this journey with me so that they can live their life in action, so that they can have the things that they want in life and not being roadblocked by themselves, because we are our own worst enemy. And that's why a lot of us don't live a life where we're achieving our dreams, because we give up too easy. And that's just human nature. So that's why it's so important to have a coach, to have a mentor, to have a good friend that wants to go on that journey with you, so you guys can work together to elevate each other and support each other for success.
Absolutely. You know, you just said another great thing that I'd like to draw out, which is somehow, some way, we become our own worst enemy. And that's something that we need to unlearn. We need to unlearn self-sabotage. We need to unlearn being in an abusive relationship with ourselves. A lot of the time, when the smoke clears, that's when you get by yourself. Nobody's there literally being a bad influence on you. When you get by yourself, you've got to have that moment where you realize it's me. It's me.
Yeah.
My thoughts aren't positive. So my outlook is not positive. So I don't feel good. And we've got to realize that it's you doing that to yourself, because you're not really in your own shoes the way that you should be in your own shoes. And when you're in your own shoes, you're charting your own path.
Sure.
If life is happening to you, then you're not in your own shoes. So now you're feeling smashed. Now you're feeling oppressed. And now you're feeling like you can't do it. But you've got to turn that around. You've got to spend time with yourself, and you've got to remove yourself out of your own way. So whether you need to write, speak to yourself, watch a podcast. What's the name of your podcast?
My podcast is called The Extraordinary Being Movement.
Got it. Watch the Extraordinary Being Movement podcast. Watch America's Next Motivator. Whatever you need to do to help unlearn being on top of yourself in a way that's not helping you, you've got to do it. Okay? Because that's the only way that you'll go from standing over yourself to understanding, and then to where everybody wants to get, which is overstanding. Okay?
Yeah.
So now, let's keep going. Did you go to college?
Yes, I went to college. I went to Penn State University, and I got a degree in criminal justice because I wanted to be a hero. I wanted to be that superhero. I wanted to become a police officer. I wanted to help and change people's lives. And then over the years, unfortunately, you know, life changes and my decisions changed. And I kind of floundered for a few years until I really harnessed and really got more into really living personal development. And I started to get more training and more education in it so that I can actually help people now in a different way and a more fulfilling way than, you know, chasing criminals down. Now I can really work with people because our biggest and worst enemy is, like you said, is our mind. And it's that voice in our head that, you know, likes to play games with us. And that's where you really have to start first, is harnessing and controlling that voice.
Absolutely.
You know, and become more mindful.
Ooh, I like that. Keep the energy here, everybody. We're getting ready to go to a brief break, and we'll be right back with Leonard DeCARMINE. I love the things that he's saying. I think that he's dropping some tenets, some ideas that we can use to make this a great moment for everybody. So sit tight. We'll be right back after this brief message. America's Next Motivator. Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 5 p.m. Eastern. Tuesday and Thursday at 10 a.m. Eastern. America's Next Motivator, hosted by me, Cedric Riley, and sponsored by the Pride Empowerment Network. And we're back. Leonard, how you feeling out there?
Hey, I'm feeling great. I feel energized. I'm ready to keep rocking and rolling with you, my friend.
That's right. Right back into it. I like the fact that everybody's in the building, sticking with us, dropping comments.
Great.
Calvin Pope says, your mind will play tricks on you. You have to stay positive at all times, even when you can't see positivity. That's a great comment, Calvin. That's a great comment because it goes into what Leonard was saying before the break, which is mindfulness. Mindfulness. And what I was going to ask you upon our return is, how do we deal with failure? I think that's the elephant in the room, and sure. I think that failure is always, you know, behind our next decision, possibly. Yeah. How do we deal with it?
All you do is just own it. Accept that you're going to fail. We are imperfect. We cannot be perfect in any way whatsoever. So just own that you are going to fail. But see, in my view, there is no failure in life. It's a learning lesson. So it's however you want to label it. If you want to label it as failure, fine. I label it as a learning lesson. See, I also don't believe there's any problems in life. There's only challenges. See, challenges can be overcome. Problems are dead ends. So it's really on how you use the language, on how you describe what you're going through, what you're feeling, and how you're experiencing that. Mm-hmm. And if you experience it in a way that, hey, I failed, I'm okay, I learned something out of this. Now I know next time not to make that same mistake. Now you're ahead of the game. See, a lot of people fail and keep making the same mistake over and over again, and that's called insanity. You have to learn from those lessons, or you truly are not succeeding. So that's what I do. I own it. I take responsibility for it. I don't shame myself about it. I might write it down in a journal or reflect upon it and say, okay, what happen? Where can I be more resourceful next time?
Right.
Now, not why, but what. Because what opens up new questions, new avenues. Why am I a failure is only one thing, but what can I do to stop failing? What can I do to become more successful? Now that opens up more avenues for you to reach out to somebody, to get more knowledge, to go read a book, to read a podcast. So it really comes down to how you ask that question to yourself to know where the next step is going to be. But in life, there is no failure. Everybody has failed. You've heard the stories of different people who have rose to success about their various failures. It's okay. Just own it, accept it, move on. It's not the end of the world.
One of the superpowers that we have as human beings is eliminating certain words from our entire dictionary, our personal dictionary, that is. Once we eliminate certain words, then there are certain places that we won't go anymore mentally or emotionally. And so I think it's powerful when you say failure doesn't exist. Problems doesn't exist. You have opportunities and you have challenges. So when you look at things from that new lens, you become someone who never really has to feel defeated. And I think it's the feeling of defeat that sometimes puts people off the course of achieving their destiny. Would you agree with that?
Yeah. I mean, failure is a concept. I mean, can you see failure? I mean, what is that? That's based upon your perspective of it. If you failed or not, somebody might say, look at it from a different lens and say, wow, you learned something fantastic here. It's all in how you want to perceive it, how you want to experience it. And people aren't experiencing things in the moment. They're not experiencing, they're not owning it. They're not really saying, okay, this happened. How am I feeling this? How am I experiencing this? And once you start experiencing things in a different way, in a different view, it opens up a whole new world to you. And just being with it.
I really like that perspective that you just gave. It reminds me of the way that people that I respect, live their life. Yeah. People who I respect, when there's a problem, even somebody like my mom or my wife or one of my family members, these are the types of people who say, well, how can I succeed through this? What can I do to get forward through this? What is it that I need to know in order to position myself for success? And it's those types of people that really make the world a better place. You need somebody who's going to be optimistic in your life. You need someone who's going to be optimistic in your corporation. Yep. How does this entire mentality translate into corporate success? Let's talk finance.
Can you repeat the question? I want to make sure I'm clear on how to answer it.
Sure. So I'm trying to take this conversation and apply it to the corporate world. Okay. When you look at how to be successful in a corporate space, when you're resilient, when you are confident, when you refuse to believe in failure, does that make you a more valuable partner inside of a company?
It all depends on how you own it. I mean, if you're a confident person and you're, being rude to people or being egotistic or narcissistic and you're being mean to people, no, that does not work. Right. It's all on how you, own it. And it comes back to ownership, accountability, and responsibility of yourself. Right. Because you want to always be in integrity. So I can be confident, and I am confident, but I'm also very humble. And, just because I have something doesn't mean I'm not going to share it with you or help you up. I'm not going to ignore you. So it's all on how you manage yourself and the type of person you want to be. Again, it goes back to, how do you want to see yourself in the future? Do you want to be in that corporate world where you're that, evil corporate president that nobody wants to deal with? Or you want to be that superstar that everybody loves to be around, who's always there to help you out and make things more successful for other people? He or she wants to take those people and have them rise with them. And that's what really comes down to being a leader. Leaders lead from within, not from the head. They want to, be with their people. They want everybody to be successful together, be a part of the decision-making process, be part of those wins, and also part of those failures, and everybody learning from those lessons.
Absolutely.
Together.
Absolutely. I see a lot of people, including you and I, having conversations about developing ourselves, personal growth, uplifting your family, uplifting your community. And what I would like to raise awareness about in this conversation is that all the things that we're talking about can also make you an even more successful professional. It's not that all of the personal work stuff goes over there and all of the professional work stuff goes over there. The things that we're talking about today translate from you being a good family member to you being a good community member to you being a good corporate professional as well. So these things streamline completely across the board. And I want to raise awareness about that, because a lot of the time when we talk about personal development, we don't connect that to the corporate environment, and then how we are actually having a very, very profitable conversation. It's profitable for you to become someone who is relentlessly optimistic, who knows how to find solutions, who seeks solutions and manifest them. That's profitable. That's what makes you worth the investment of not only your family and community, but also corporate entities as well. So take this conversation and apply it everywhere you possibly can. Now, Leonard, what are you doing from an entrepreneurial standpoint these days?
Oh, what I'm doing, I have a couple different things I'm working on. Right now, I have my platform called the Extraordinary Being Movement. It's a podcast that myself and my two partners run. We do it every week. We interview people from all over the world. We are creating a global movement to empower people for personal growth and achievement.
Okay.
And we are on a journey we're on our own personal journey, and we're bringing other people who are on this journey as well with us, so that we can educate and provide knowledge and resources so that people realize they are not alone, and that they don't have to live an ordinary life, but they could truly live an extraordinary life and really see their dreams come true and make things happen and not sit on the sidelines. A lot of us are afraid to take action. So we are taking a stand for everybody that's out there so that they can feel empowered, that they know that they got somebody in their corner. We may not be physically there with them, but we are there with them in their corner, helping them wanting to achieve what they want out of their lives, so they can have the freedom to live the lifestyle that they wish.
So do you and your team, you guys plan to go different places around the earth?
No, we interview people. I have people from all over the world that we do virtual interviews just like this.
Okay.
And we interview them on all different topics, from relationships to communication to business to building their business to finances, a little bit of everything, because like you said earlier, personal growth goes into every aspect of our lives. It's just not one aspect. And it needs to be spread across everything. And there needs to be a balance of it all. And you need to be applying it. And you need to be living it. It's a daily thing for me that I need to be living it in some way and serving others. How can I serve somebody today and asking nothing in return? How can I share with them my story, my knowledge, so that they can learn something from it to help elevate their life?
Talk about the power of service. I think that you also brought up a really good point there too. We sometimes overlook service as a way of personal growth.
Yeah.
And as a way of really getting to our end goal. Everybody needs something done for them, and it's a matter of who's going to step up and do it. Talk about the power of service.
Yeah, I get a little frustrated when I hear people say, "Oh, I've done it on my own." Mm-hmm. It's absolutely impossible to do anything on your own. You didn't just come into this earth, into where we are by yourself. You needed two people to get you here to where you are today. And everything around you you're getting help by somebody. That employer had to give you a job so you can make money. You had to go through school to learn from a teacher to get the education you needed. Nobody does anything on their own. So to me, it's very important that I give back, that I serve people in a way to thank them for being able to give me the knowledge and the education, and that I could pay it forward to other people. And I explain that to other people. Like, if I lend you some money, and you're having difficulty paying me back, and I just tell people, listen, pay it forward to somebody else, because if not, it's going to hurt you, and the karma is going to come back and bite you, because you're not you're not giving service to other people. You're not, really being truthful to who you are. You're not living a life of integrity. And people should be out there, volunteering, sharing their stories, providing value to other people's lives, because that helps us grow as a community. And that helps us grow as human beings, that we're all coming together as one mind, so that we can help elevate all of ourselves and make generation after generation after us even better. Absolutely. So they have the right gifts and tools to be more self-aware and not living their lives in their phone or in their computer, because that's not going to get you anywhere. All that knowledge in the world on that we have on the internet isn't changing anything. Is it? It's to some level it is, but it's not making that much of a difference. Even though we have everything right there at our fingertips, we're still dealing with the same issues that we've been dealing with for years and years and years, which is unfortunate.
Yes, it's definitely unfortunate. And I'm really feeling something right now because of what you're saying. I'm feeling some type of way. I'm thinking about the millions of people on planet Earth with us, our fellow human beings, right here in America and in other places. So much respect to everybody.
Yes.
Who need us to do something for them.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody needs you to do something for them today. Find that person and do it.
Yeah, and it doesn't have to be anything big. It just could be holding the door open for somebody. Is those little things that you don't realize that can change somebody's life, because you don't know who's walking into that store who's feeling depressed and anxiety, and they might be thinking that the world is against them, and they might be thinking about taking their lives. But you doing that one small act of kindness by just opening up the door, helping somebody with their groceries, could actually make the difference in that person's life that day. That can stop them from doing something harmful to themselves. And that's the power of service. That's the power of helping others and being a part of people and not being afraid of people. We're starting to become afraid of each other, which is my belief. A lot of people don't want to talk to people anymore or help each other out because it's a liability, or I can get sued, or this or that. That's the wrong attitude to take. You got to be out there helping, volunteering, doing things to be an act of service.
Absolutely. Let's not be afraid of one another. Let's find someone that we can serve today. Mm-hmm. Like Leonard said, it doesn't have to be something financial. It doesn't have to be.
No.
But hey, maybe you're someone who can help someone out financially. Go ahead. That's fine too. But a phone call, a gesture, some advice, there's a lot of people out there who haven't told their own family their story.
True.
You know how happy I would be if a relative of mine called me today and said, "You know what, Cedric? I'm going to tell you my story today." Do you know I would grab a pillow and a chair and sit there and listen for however long they wanted to share their story with me? That helps. It helps me when people tell me their story. It helps me. There's all different types of ways that we can serve one another. Go out there today and find a way to serve someone. Now, Leonard, what's next for you? What you got going on next?
Well, before I answer that, can I just bring up something that you said?
Sure.
Listening.
Yep.
Listening is powerful. This is where we fail. We were given 2 ears for a reason and one mouth. Listening is powerful. You not speaking, but really listening to that person's story can change their world. And at the end of that story, what you should be doing is not giving advice. Is asking them questions. How can I be of service to you now? Is this something you want me to help you solve? Is this something that you just want me to listen to? Ask them where they want to be directed after they tell you this very impactful story. because they might just want somebody just to listen to them. They may not want advice. So just be careful with that and just listen. And I tell a lot of people that, it's powerful.
Absolutely.
So what was your question? I'm sorry.
Well, I mean, what you just said just really changed my direction as well. Because I mean, we're doing a service to one another today by speaking. We're two people who think and speak. And so the things that you're saying are piquing my interest into different areas. And I want you to take a couple minutes or a couple seconds rather and talk about your real growth spurt as an adult. And the reason why I want you to do that is because we've got young kids in foster care. We got 440,000 youth in the foster care system. And some of them can really, really identify with your story today.
Right.
And they're trying to figure out how to become effective adults. Can you talk about that run where, Eye of the Tiger is playing in the background of your mind and you're really becoming the best version of yourself that you can? Can you talk about that portion of your life?
Yeah, the biggest thing I need to emphasize here is choice. We all have a choice in life, so you have to choose wisely. And so I made a decision, especially having that impact of having a daughter at a young age, is that I made a choice that I wanted to live a lifestyle where I can influence her to become successful, that I can support her and motivate her and give her the tools necessary. So I made a choice to get myself into learning more about personal development and going to the library and reading and looking up online and finding things that really interest me so I can learn how to overcome some of the demons that I was dealing with inside of me so I can become a better person. So first, make the choice of the direction. You don't need to know exactly where you want to go just yet, but make that choice that I want to be a better person, that I want to live my life differently, and then start finding the resources to help get you there. I know there are many free resources out there. You don't have to go out and spend a lot of money. You can go to the library to go get books. I mean, I'm a big fan of Goodwill. I go to Goodwill all the time, and I walk out with a stack of books in great condition on personal development, on business for $2, $3. And I take them home and I just read and read and read because it's an ongoing process. Personal growth and personal development is never ending because once you learn something else, you find something new about you. Like, oh, what is that I just discovered about myself? I need to start making that change or making something become more aware, become more mindful about it. So I go into a new direction and I start reading books about other topics, but it's all personally related. I also recommend getting a great mentor or coach. Find someone that you can truly trust that is on the same level that you're at, and find that person. I have had many throughout the years, and as you grow and you mature, you're going to go through different people because they come into your life at a stage that you need them. Once you grow and develop more, now it's time for you to move on to that next mentor, that next coach, because now they're going to take you to the next level. So always be looking for, that next person, or just kind of let the universe bring that person to you. I'm a big fan of law of attraction, and what you put out there is what you're going to get back. So if you're going to constantly put out negative thoughts, you're going to get negative thoughts back. But if you put out there, hey, this is where I want to be. This is what I want to be doing. How do I go about doing that? And I know I mentioned before a few times is about thinking about your future self. Start journaling, start writing down where you want to be in 5 years. And it might be unrealistic right now, but you'll be surprised in 5 years, you're going to be there even faster, maybe in the next 2 to 3 years. But you just got to be passionate about it, dedicated to it, and just keep moving yourself forward to make those things happen. And like I said, you're going to have road bumps along the way. It's okay. Failure is good. You're not a failure. You're a lifelong learner, and you have to learn through those, those bumps in the road to really find your true self. And each learning lesson along the way is a gift. And that gift is helping you open up your eyes to the next step, to the next level. You got to level up like you do in video games. You got to level up to the next stage. Right. You're fighting, at each of those roadblocks, you're fighting the little bad guy at the end until you get to the big bad guy. So you got to fight all those little henchmen before you get to fight that big battle. And along those ways, you're going to fight. And as you know, in any video game, of course, you fail, but you have lives to continue to move on. You can, in each game, you get new resources, you get new health, and you just keep moving along, and you keep playing and playing and playing until you win. And that's what life is. Life is a game. Play the game to win, and you'll have that success that you're looking for. So just keep going out there. Look at the free resources available to you, tons of information, and don't let yourself get sidetracked. Reach out to mentors. Like I said, reach out to somebody that can get you back on track.
What would you say is the number one lesson that you got from a mentor or coach?
To believe in yourself. My biggest lesson I got was just to believe in myself, because that's something, even now I have a hard time, sometimes believing, like, am I really that good enough? Am I really good enough to serve these people? And I just have to reassure myself, yes, I am. I have the knowledge. I spent the time. I have the experience. And they're coming to me to help them solve their problem. And I know I can do it. So sometimes, no one, like I said, no one's perfect. We all go through that at any stage of our life or in our business, because we hit just different stages. And that's just telling us, all right, let's keep moving. But believe in yourself. No matter what, you only have you at the end of the day. And you're the one who's going to make that choice and make that difference to inspire somebody or to hurt somebody. So constantly being inspiring.
Yeah. Now, let's take it back to a couple of the elements we spoke about earlier.
Sure.
Who wins? Who wins? Batman or Superman? Who wins?
Well, you got two different things here, Superman's got that, alien power, but Batman has, the tools and the resources. I mean, it's always a good battle. I don't think I think it always ends up being a draw that, they'll ended up at the end still being friends. But I mean, I would always love to see Batman. When I love what he, for me, he's been a big influence. So, as silly as it sounds, growing up, I'm like, I've always wanted to be a millionaire. I always wanted these gadgets. I just want to be that hero to somebody. And I just saw that more of a reflection in myself as being that Batman and making a difference in people's lives.
I got another one for you.
Sure, let's go.
Who wins, Iron Man or Superman?
Oh, that's a good battle there too. I don't know. I think Superman could really rip off that Iron Man shell there and just bring him back down to just being a man without all of his gadgets.
Man,
that would be another good battle.
Hold up, man. Every time I get deep into a Superman episode, Superman always ends up befuddled at some point in the episode. But Iron Man is never befuddled. Even when he's messing up, he's coming up with a solution right there on the spot. Iron Man definitely wins over Superman. All right, this is my last one. This is my last one. Spider-Man or Black Panther? Let's go.
Oh, that's I don't know. I can see that as being a tie. I mean, they're both very, athletic. They're both very agile. Oh, geez. I mean, Spider-Man's got that webbing that, you can slow down his, people he's fighting. But I think that would be a very hard battle to figure out who would really win based upon, I think they have very similar skill sets.
Right. Okay. I had to jog your mind right there and see what you thought about that. Listen, this has been a great episode so far.
Great.
And any last tips for folks out there who might want to start a podcast or might want to follow in your footsteps? How can we find you for more advice in the future and any tips for future podcasters?
Yeah. Go to my website. It's called theextraordinarybeing.com. It is a very long email, a very long URL, but it's well worth getting there. I have tons of information on there. We have all of our podcast episodes from different people from all over the world. Like I said, we have free resources on there. We are growing our platform, and we're going to be actually providing a lot more coaching services and other trainings for people to learn to become more mindful, to learn other skill sets to help them achieve their goals and to help eliminate limiting beliefs.
Absolutely.
So make sure you check us out there. I mean, we're having a great time, and our podcast, just like this, is all about fun. And that's what myself and my partners do. We just have fun with the people we have, because that what his life is about. That's just having fun.
Okay, so now we're down to the last 30 seconds of the show. I need you to answer these 3 questions in 20 seconds. First question, what is survival to you?
Survival to me is having common sense. Being able to recognize what's right and what's wrong, to be able to be more aware of your surroundings and who you are, and just thinking things through, and just having that common sense, that street smarts, to really make a difference in your life. A lot of people lack that, I believe, nowadays, because they're so engulfed in their phones.
What is success to you?
Oh, success to me is having freedom.
What is greatness? What is greatness to you?
Greatness is being able to inspire others.
Leonard, I want to let you know that I've listened to your story today. I've been inspired by your journey.
Thank you.
And I like a lot of the things that you mentioned today in our conversation.
Great.
I want to give you your respect today while you're still living. Ladies and gentlemen, get your crown emojis ready out there. I want to give you a crown today while you're still living, and while you can still receive it. I want to let you know, Leonard, that you, Leonard Carmine, are America's next motivator.
Woo! Thank you so much. I love being here with you and your audience, and I'm very grateful to have this conversation. You know, I believe everybody meets for a reason, and I think today was a reason that definitely shed some light on that. We connected and provided great resources and value to everybody out there.
Without a doubt. You see Yolanda Riley drop the crown emojis for you. Thank you today, Leonard, all right?
Thank you so much.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, there you have it. Each and every episode of America's Next Motivator is going to have something here for you. All you've got to do is stop by and pick it up.